Are you ready to take action to attain the lifestyle of your dreams?
It's a great way to make a lot of money fast.
Hey, what's up, Clever Investors? Welcome back to the Clever Investor Show. I'm your lucky host, Cody Spurber, the OG Clever Investor. We're back in the studio. I got Max Jimenez with me, the dude who runs our wholesaling division. And look, guys, we're going to be talking some smack today because I think it's really important that a lot of people come to us either bringing us deals or wanting to learn how to wholesale real estate, or they're wholesaling real estate. They're having a hard time moving their properties, or they're new investors and they're coming to our meetups and our networking events or our live events. And if they're newer or they're trying to do deals in today's market, they know that it's real out there. It's real out there
real
right
deal
now.
Holyfield right now.
This ain't wholesaling back in the day when the market was going straight up, like up.
Buy 90%, sell it for 95.
Yeah,
100.
interest rates were zero. There was negative interest rate, negative percent interest rates. Every institution was buying. Everybody was buying. Everybody was moving. Everybody was selling. It ain't like that anymore.
Absolutely not.
You know what? And so when it's real out there, I think it's time for us to have a real raw conversation about what it takes to win this game.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that because not only that, think about that, right? We've had we were in a mastermind here locally in Phoenix, a small little mastermind. A lot of the guys in there, obviously still talking about, the heyday and selling the hedge funds. Like those days are long gone, right?
They're struggling out there right now. They're selling their gold chains. They're getting rid of the whip. They're looking around going, all right, how do I get into a different industry? Maybe solar.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
This is what happens when shit hits the fan.
Exactly.
All joking aside, it's rough out there and it's about to get rougher for a lot of people in a lot of different areas of our space. I got some unfortunate news the other day that a good friend of mine out of LA actually took his own life.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to say too much because it's not proper for a podcast, but
sure.
When you get news like that, and I was like, what happened? And he was a builder. Yeah. Building luxury kind of infill apartment type deals. And he co-signed for a bunch or signed personal guarantees.
Sure.
On these loans he took out to build these high-end, like wow. 40, 50, $60 million projects.
Yeah.
Market turned.
Yeah.
Market turned. And a lot of other things probably compounded onto it. Absolutely. Personal issues, relationship issues. But when shit hits the fan, when money is tight like that, and your back's against the wall and you're going the wrong direction and everything feels like it's against you.
Right.
Sometimes it feels like there's no hope.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And it's interesting that you obviously you're sharing the story. You're not going to get into all the details, but typically it leads with the financial aspect, right? And then everything else goes back to that. And that's like, even in a marriage, like sometimes that happens, right? Usually a lot of the problems are financial, but I mean, it's interesting to hear that obviously he went all in, but not knowing what the market was going to do, and it turned, and it's sad to hear that.
Dude, I was just DMing him, and maybe 3-4 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Everything seemed fine on the surface. That's why people don't want to share this stuff.
Yep.
They don't want to really talk about it, but the pressure's real. And absolutely. This podcast I want to dedicate to the mindset of a millionaire wholesaler.
Absolutely.
Because it is a mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
This game is 90% mental.
Absolutely.
I can come to you right now, Max, and sit down with you, and in 1 week have enough skills and capabilities that you could teach me to be lethal on the phones.
Correct.
I could have the steps internalized to go out there and wholesale a piece of real estate within a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 days. All I had to have to spend with Max is 7 days. That's how easy it is to pick up on the tactics, tactical.
Yep.
The hard part is everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and even when you're new, it took me 14 months to get my first deal. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
11 months.
Fucking 11 months. Look at these weak, entitled sissies that are coming into our industry. They buy some Black Friday sale for $40 that teaches them how to wholesale real estate. And then they're pissed off online, act like little bitches.
Now imagine this. It took me 11
When
months.
it's 90 days in and they haven't become a real
I
estate
want my
millionaire.
$47
Yeah,
back.
I want my 47 online just being a dick.
Yeah, absolutely.
They told me that these deals would just fly into my inbox on autopilot. He used the words automagically.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
So funny you bring that up because it took me 11 months, but in that transition from month 0 to 11 month, I actually had 4 properties under contract. Now think about how demoralizing is that you had to cancel those contracts.
That hope is real.
Yeah, exactly.
That hope, you spent the money. Emotionally, you already bought the car.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So I already made up my mind. But one thing I noticed that from the difference from, say these new people that are coming in, and again, I'm not trying to beat up a certain individuals, but is that they don't sell out. I always talk to people and I always tell them this. Look, when I found out about wholesaling and I knew that was going to be the vehicle that I wanted to do, I sold out, which means that I freaking took everything out of my way that I thought I wanted to do or was considering doing, and I sold out for this. And I didn't care how long it was going to take me. I was going to go through it. And of course, right, we'll get into a little bit of the details, some of the things I was doing, some of the sacrifices I had to make. But that's where I started. I sold out for this vehicle, which was wholesaling real estate.
So you burned the boats.
Yeah, I did. Yep. I burned the boats, and I don't see a lot of people doing that, burning the boats.
How I wrote an Instagram. I was looking up, seeing if I could find it right now. But okay, I got it.
Let's go.
We might as well do this. Listen, it was the year 1519, and Hernan Cortez with some 600 Spaniards, 16 or so horses, 11 boats had landed on a vast inland plateau called Mexico. The Spanish conquistador and his men were about to embark on a conquest of an empire that hoarded some of the world's greatest treasures. Gold, silver, and precious Aztec jewels were just some of what the treasures that it had to offer, and anybody who succeeded in their quest to obtain it would become rich.
Damn.
But with only 600 men, none of whom have ever encumbered themselves with protective armor, conquering an empire so extensive in its territories can only be undertaken by a man with a death wish. This daring undertaking was made even more insurmountable by the fact that more than 600 years, conquerors with far more resources at their disposal have attempted to colonize the Yucatan Peninsula, never succeeded. Mr. Cortez was well aware of this fact, and it was for this reason he took a different approach when he landed on the land of the Mayans. Instead of charging through the cities and forcing his men into immediate battle, Hernan, am I saying that right? Hernan Cortez stayed on the beach and awoke the souls of his men with a melodious cadence. Melodious. I wrote that. I didn't write that. I stole that shit from online. A melodious cadence
Copy paste
in the form of an emblazoned speech. His speeches were ingeniously designed to urge the spirit of adventure and evoke the thirst of lifetimes of fortunes amongst his troops. His orations, I definitely stole this shit from online. His orations bore fruit from what was supposedly a military exploit, now bore the appearance of an extravagance romance in the imagination of Cortez's troops. But ironically, it would only be just 3 words which Cortez murmured that would change the history of the New World. As they marched inland to face their enemies, Cortez ordered, burn the boats. We know today how Cortez's decision to burn his boats panned out. Hernan Cortez became the first man in 600 years to successfully conquer Mexico.
Jeez.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's some real talk right there.
Yeah.
Dude,
crazy.
can you imagine? You got 11 horses, 600 dudes are all impoverished, no armor, and you're like, we're going to go take over this country. Just burn the boats.
Yeah.
But how many people, though, talk a big game?
Exactly.
They come into this business, they see some ad, they see you cashing a deal check, buying a whip, paying for some nice vacation. They see some shit online, and they get all worked up. We call that motivation, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is not what you need.
No.
We see this shit every day. People looking like their highlight reel on Instagram, looking like they're balling out.
Right.
But that motivation isn't what you need.
No.
They get all worked up. They buy the little course, start to put in the work. They talk a big game. And then what? And then what?
First obstacle. What happens?
Then what is some of the obstacles? Look, what you're going to get hung up on. You're going to get told no.
Nobody I'm calling is motivated.
No, everybody wants above retail. Nobody wants to do what you want them to do. They want to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
You think realtors want to talk to you?
No.
First stop, you're going to read something on biggerpockets.com that says build a power team, and you're going to call up some real estate attorney, and he's going to go, wholesaling's illegal, you idiot.
Yep.
Go back to your job.
Exactly.
And you're going to hit that wall.
You need money.
You're going to need some money, buddy. You're running out of money. You're going to want to send a postcard. Can't send one postcard. You're not getting a deal off a little bit of postcards.
No.
It ain't working like that.
Not right now.
You're gonna get
Forever.
you're gonna find some partner who's also a broke joke just like you, and you two idiots are gonna go off and try to form a business together, not knowing what the hell either one of you.
I've seen that as well.
Doing.
I've seen that as well recently.
90 days in, you're gonna be one of you is getting fired.
Yeah.
You're gonna rip the other person off and bail because that's what they do. There's no loyalty in these streets. There's no love.
No, there's not.
With some stranger you met at the RIA group. I mean, let's be honest. Like you're gonna have 4 deals.
Yeah.
You're gonna be emotionally so bought in. You're gonna think that first deal you got under, man, I'm about to. This is it. It's happening.
Absolutely.
Man, what did it feel like when that deal fell apart?
I mean, it's proof of the first deal that fell apart or the fourth deal that fell apart. The first deal that fell apart was like, okay, well, you're excited. It's under contract. Comped it wrong, so obviously put it under contract wrong. And then you start sending it here. And obviously you don't have this big buyers list, and you send it 3 or 4 people that you may know, and they all 3 of them say, hey dude, this deal is not great. It sucks. Our buyers won't even look at this.
What? This isn't a good deal?
Yeah, exactly.
But I got it under contract.
What do you mean? The ad said just get it under contract.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little bit, it takes you back, but then the second one happens, right? And you're like, then you start questioning yourself a little bit. Okay, what's going on here? Am I not doing something right? Third one happens. By the fourth one, I'm like, do I even want to do this? And the key here,
self-limiting beliefs start getting
real. Oh yeah, that the angel and the devil, right? It's like, see, this wasn't for you. Like, it's your Ford contract that had to be canceled. But the separating factor, which we'll probably dive into this, is that I was very well surrounded with very positive people. That's what helped me.
Game changer.
Yeah,
game changer.
And it wasn't. Can
you imagine being out on an island?
Dude, yeah.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Nobody to talk to, nobody to encourage you.
Yep.
Nobody to cheer. Worse, imagine if you bought something, and I've had this happen many times, where a student will buy a course, they'll go through it, and they'll be like, oh my God, this is the best training I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
I want to do mentoring.
Correct.
They'll talk to one of our enrollment guys.
Yep.
Whenever we have an opening, we'll say, hey, we got this opening. It's $10,000. You get to work for 6 months with Cody and his team, blah, 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 all this, whatever the program is.
Yeah.
The guy will sign up, right? Because he's bought in. He wants this, he's got this real estate dream, man. He wants to be successful. He's already starting to make some progress. Just off if the training's that good, the mentorship's got to be ridiculous.
Right.
And then he'll do it, and then he'll tell his significant other later at the dinner table later that, he'll do the, oh, honey, by the way.
Yeah.
And she'll just shit all over his dreams.
Exactly.
Just absolutely destroy the guy. What? We have fucking bills.
Yeah.
We got other things. Your daughter's about to go to college soon. Our car is barely making it. And you're out there buying what? What did you buy? Hope? You bought a mentorship full of hope?
What are you going to do with that?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You've said you wanted to do this in the past. Remember the MLM that you joined?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember the big talk, the MLM? You spent $4,000 on products and shit. We still got those things?
Yeah. Never used them.
Been 4 years. We can't give them away. This happens all the time.
It does.
Where somebody else in the family tries to hijack the dreams.
Yeah.
Steer the ship in their direction. Sometimes it's out of anger. Sometimes it's out of trying to protect you. Sometimes they just don't believe. Nothing that they've ever done has ever worked. So why would your shit work?
Yep.
Unfortunately, at the time, when I was first getting going, my girl did that. She did that to me. And I remember that feeling of just being like, you don't fucking get it.
Yep.
Like, I'm not quitting. I don't want to quit. Why are you trying to talk me into quitting? Yeah. It just didn't feel right. It was such a disconnect from where I wanted to go.
Yeah. The other thing
happens.
Too, it does. It happens a lot. And like I said, I was very blessed to be within a circle. And this was some family members. Plus, I had to stay away from other family members too, as well. Remember, I said I sold out. I even went as far as not even going to some birthday parties and things like that.
Dude, Mexicans love birthday parties.
Dude, yeah.
That had to just kill you.
It did. I mean, it did. But it was worth more what I was doing than going to that birthday party for temporary, because I go now, right? But my father-in-law he's a very positive guy. Like this, there's not a negative bone in his body, honestly. Like totally positive dude. And that fourth contract really hurt me a little bit. And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. And I was talking to him, and he's the one that said, hey, you can't give up. He goes, I've seen how hard you work. And he had, right, doing the yellow letters on the kitchen table, going out with my son to put the bandit signs.
We love this guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to father-in-law.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so push me. And then sure enough, that was month number 9. And then 2 months later, I ended up getting a deal, not from the bandit signs, not from door knocking, not from driving for dollars. It was a lady that worked with my wife. She had a condo that she had been paying on for 2 years, completely destroyed it because they were supposed to rehab it. And my wife actually started to let them know that I was buying properties, which at that time. And so she said, well, maybe they want to look at my condo. So we went and looked at it, got it under contract for $45,000. We made like $11,500 on that deal.
Boom, a condo.
Yeah. Yep, a condo.
You can flip anything.
Yeah.
That's what people don't. Hey, what should I focus on? Just get some shit under contract. Condos.
Yeah.
It could be shitty crack houses. It could be nice houses. Yep. You know, like what's working right now, just a little side tangent, you know, properties in the, you know, under $400,000 range. Mm-hmm. Any place where a rehabber can justify buying it without taking on too much risk, in and out rehab, you know, like 60 days or less, in and out, get it back up on the market and stay in that affordable price range. Lenders are lending again. Yep. Interest rates have dropped at the time of this recording. You know, we dropped down back into the 6s. I don't know how long this is going to last, but right now the buying activity is pretty good in our wholesaling business. Like we're getting the cash buyer activity ramp back up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's going back to, you know, obviously I started doing this back in late 2014 and then went full time in the end of 2015. But we're starting to see some of those trends come back where the easy button's pretty much completely gone now, right? Like before, you could throw properties up on certain systems and then people would hit the buy now button. But that's not happening. It's work now. And so a lot of people are not understanding this and they're still stuck within that period. And they give up. They give up way too sooner. You ever see that? That meme where those two guys are digging
3 feet from gold?
Yeah, 3 feet from gold, right?
Yep.
And most people quit too soon, and they don't ever get to experience what, you know, potentially you and I experienced, that deal, that proof of concept, that shut up check that you show to your family members. And so it's like,
here, let's kind of walk through some things that you need to have if you want to be a real estate wholesale millionaire. Okay. First and foremost, you have to be dialed in on your vision and your goal setting.
Exactly.
It's one of the things I respect most about you, by the way.
I appreciate it.
You are fantastic at goal setting.
Yep.
Your ability to write shit down and get clarity and just like get it so mapped out with so much detail that when you show it to the team, and one of Max's duties within the organization is leadership, right? He's got to get a whole bunch of wholesalers on acquisitions, dispositions, transaction coordination. He's got to get everybody in alignment.
Yep.
Alignment equals velocity. You cannot get moving quickly. You can't dominate in this business without alignment. Now, let's say you don't have a big team. How do you know where you're going if you don't have clarity?
Yeah.
Is your only goal, and this is the problem with most newbies,
it is.
Their only goal is I want to do a deal. Okay. Okay, that's a wide range of things you could do in order to accomplish that goal. Why isn't there like narrow focus and clarity?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, on the flip side of that, I've actually talked to wholesalers where like, okay, what's your income goal for your first year? They're like 850,000. And I'm like, okay, nice. How many deals have you done? Well, I'm working on my first deal. I'm like, okay. I love the enthusiasm, but let's just rein it out just a little bit. And let's think about 90-day increments. Right. Let's stay there. You can write a 12-month goal if you want, but let's focus on the next 90 days. What are your highest generating revenue activities that you're going to focus on? Find out what your average profit per deal is in your market. So if you want to make 40,000 and your only average profit per deal in your market is 10K, how many deals do you have to close? 4. Okay. Are you going to cold call? Are you going to door knock? Right. So you start working that backwards. Most people don't even do that. They're just out there just slinging mud and hopefully it sticks.
So is that kind of how you map out? How often do you map out your goals, and how often are you writing things down?
So every morning I have my 3 top to dos, but above that, I go as far as 90 days. I follow the traction model. So most people that can pick up the book Traction, so you can read that book. And what in the book Traction, what it says is that the focus capacity of a human being to focus on one thing is about 90 days, right? 90 days or less. But you still can do your 12-month goal. But I'm changing stuff up every 90 days.
Yeah, I love that.
Don't have to change it all 100%, but if stuff doesn't serve you or you completed it, then you change it or make the adjustment on it.
Yeah, your big hairy goal could be, I want to go into real estate full-time, quit my job.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be the overarching big hairy goal. But your 90-day goal is a certain dollar amount, a certain amount of deals, a certain amount of traction in your business, building it out, getting a certain distance, that kind of thing.
You know, one more thing, when team members start with us in our with our company as far as wholesaling side, guess what they're doing the first day that they start? They're writing their 90-day goals. Like, what do you want to accomplish in the next 90 days? And then they'll say, and how much revenue do you want? How much money do you want to make? And then some of them think they come in here, well, I like to make, $100 grand. All right, this is what it looks like. Are you sure you want to put in that much work? You're ready to do that? And they're like, oh, I didn't know it was that much. Okay, well, let's readjust it and let's do a SMART goal. But they do write down their 90-day goals, and obviously, we work around that, and that's the motivation that drives them.
Yeah, how many people realize, or if they realized how much work it actually takes,
a lot. Yeah,
they would change directions.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody talks a big game. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Absolutely. I want to go back to what
I love that.
I love that too. Yeah, from Mike Tyson. I want to go back to what you said about the mindset, the mindset of a millionaire wholesaler. When I went to Sandler, this was back in 2018, I was gung-ho. I was like, damn, I'm excited about this. I'm going to learn sales like at a higher level. Like Sandler Sales Systems, like a global company, right? That trains people all around the world. Well, guess what? It was foundations first. Did you think that we learned any tactics or sales strategies? What did you think that they did to us?
In the beginning?
Yeah. So
probably just all writing down shit.
So basically, first we take we took a personality test to find out where you're at, see if you qualify, right? So then they look at your potential. They look at to see if you're going to make it or not. The second thing is that they work on your mindset. They work on your behavior traits. They work on helping you setting goals before you go into any type of strategies. They're teaching you. They're sprinkling in little strategies here and there, but they develop a system that actually works on your behaviors, your attitude, and then your technique is the last thing that they hyper focus on.
So smart.
Yeah,
so smart.
Yeah.
Once I started doing that with our mentoring students, they started getting a lot more results.
Yep.
Because it really is a psychology shift.
It is.
It's a 1-degree shift in the way they think about money. They think about rejection, the way they think about consistency and persistence and work ethic, which real quick, if somebody wanted to come work for us, how would they do that?
Sure. If you're looking for a great opportunity, if you're looking to level up and you want to become a high performer, be trained by the best, go to workwithcody.com, workwithcody.com, and I'll get that information and I'll be calling them. So
that'd be dope. Join us. It'd be cool if one of our podcast listeners came out and learned the real estate business from us. But it is an in-person thing. You have to be here in Tempe, Arizona.
It is in person.
I don't care how dope you are, how skilled you are. We're not fucking around with people. You can be a deal partner with us, but you're not going to work directly in-house with us.
There's a book called You're Okay, I'm Okay.
So many of our listeners reach out and they ask us how they can get involved in my actual real estate deals. Our investment firm specializes in finding deeply discounted properties, acquiring them, renovating, stabilizing both single-family and multifamily properties all over the United States. That's why we're so excited to share with you clevercapitalfund.com. Now, if you have some investment capital and you want to deploy it and receive double-digit returns backed by real estate, then visit our website and see which fund is right for you. We have both equity funds and we have debt funds where you just get paid out every month like clockwork. All you got to do is visit www.clevercapitalfund.com today to learn more.
And it's very psychology heavy. I didn't read the whole thing. I was like, damn, I'm done. Like this thing's like
4 chapters in.
Yeah, 4 chapters in.
I got it.
But the first 4 chapters, what I love about it, we all have like this recording tape, right? From 1 to 5. Did you know that we learn everything that we do in life from those years, from 1 to 5?
I've heard that.
Yeah. It's amazing. So when you said right now about how people see money, how people see relationships, how people see, success, all that gets recorded, right? Within the 1 to 5 years. Because you have a different upbringing than I do, right? Like I didn't even know what a checking account was till I was like 18 years old. Think about that. So now we got individuals that want to come and try to negotiate, right? Try to negotiate, a $400,000 house, a $300,000 house at 40 cents on the dollar. Consciously, we don't think about that, but subconsciously, we're like, you don't deserve this. Like, you really think you deserve this? And that's why I think the way that Sandler has that training system, and this is what I always, when we have new team members come in, the first book that I give them is that I tell them to read, or if I have it, I'll give it to them, is Jim Rohn, The Power of Ambition. That book is amazing.
Yeah,
because you got to think about, is this really what you want to do? Because this shit's hard. Like, this work is hard. And it starts believing, do you believe that you deserve the success? And so if you don't, you're going to struggle. You're never going to overcome your challenges.
Well, that leads us into the next trait that you need to be a real estate millionaire, and that's persistence. Wholesaling's tough. Real estate's tough. There's a lot of money on the line. There's people pulling you in different directions. Nobody wants to do it your way. They want to do it their way. All right. And everybody's got an agenda. And when there's big money on the line, they're willing to break some rules. They're willing to cut you out of deals. They're willing to
just a dog eat dog world.
Yeah, they're willing to just run your ass over.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be tough. I tell people right from the beginning how tough. You got to be real tough in this business. You got to tell people how to do business with you. There's no such thing as a super nice, rich wholesaler.
No.
It just does not exist.
No.
And I've learned that the hard way.
Yep.
I went for months and months and months kumbaya with everybody, thinking we're all going to lock arms and help each other. The reality is we help each other as long as there's mutual benefits to it.
Absolutely.
If there's not mutual benefits, most people are like, look, I'm too busy to I'll give you a little free advice, but I'm not going to go in the trenches with you. Yeah. I'm not going to take the lawsuit head on with you. I'm not going to go start and scale a business with you unless I'm getting paid.
No, that's true.
Right? And so millionaire wholesalers, they got to understand, no matter what is happening, you got to push forward.
Yeah.
No matter how difficult it is, you got to push forward. You are 3 feet from gold. There is a deal there. Somebody's going to get the deal. It just might not be you.
Yep.
And that's just the reality. People are trading properties all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling properties at massive discounts all the time. If you think there's not somebody in your neighborhood right now, like you could go stand on your street. If you think there's not somebody in that neighborhood that's going to sell at a discount at some point, you're crazy, because they're going to go through a divorce. They're going to lose their job. They're going to have circumstances change financially, or the house is going to be old and ugly and beat up, and they're going to sell.
Yeah.
And they're going to realize, dude, I had a guy call me the other day, paid $250,000 for a Richard Mill. Okay. An RMO 30. Okay. RM30. Beautiful watch, rose gold, all the whole thing. Calls me up and says, I think I want to sell my watch. I made some bad investments, some this. And this is a rich guy.
Yeah, right.
Rich guys just are slanging their RMs right now at major discounts. And I said, what you want for the watch? And he said, I don't know. I'm thinking about I'd take $205,000 cash. I said, oh man, I'm a buyer at like 150.
Yeah.
Cash. Like, I got the cash. I'll send you the cash right now, 150. I felt bad. I mean, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of a good dude right now. It's like, look, there's a cost to my cash. And as an investor, I know I'm gonna flip that watch for realistically right now, pretty quickly, 180, 185, and I'll move it quick.
Right.
But even if I don't, I'll take the time to move it.
Yeah. I mean, you're buying it at a good price. Yeah.
He needs the cash by Friday type of energy. This happens all the time in real estate. This happens with people in their cars. And you're going to watch the market turn. You're going to see a lot of people dumping cars, extra watches. They're going to be selling their extra properties. I just had one of my good friends, mortgage guy, launch his cabin.
Yeah.
Sold his cabin. If I would have talked to him a year and a half ago when the mortgage boom was happening, you ever going to sell this? Never.
Yeah.
Never. It's my favorite thing I own.
Right.
I talked to him the other day. What are you doing?
Selling.
Sad day, man. I just packed up. I'm driving away from the cabin.
Wow.
I had to sell. Mortgage guy's in pain.
Dang.
I mean, that's what's happening.
It is. Now, one real quick thing, because people are here like, oh, Cody's a savage and this and that. But everybody pays for convenience. Most people don't look at this.
I'm not a savage.
No,
I'm buying a watch. Look, he would do the same thing to me.
He would, right? But think about it on a lower scale, because maybe there's some newbies here watching, whatever. Everybody pays for convenience. The reason why you pay for a light bill is the reason why you pay for a gas bill, is the reason why, you know, if you want a shorter time frame on your car note, it costs you a lot more on your payment. Everybody pay, right, to get that paid off quicker.
Yeah.
Everybody pays for convenience at some point, some level. It's just, this is a higher level. And, you know, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, or he would turn around and do it to you, right? And this is why I always tell people who talk to sellers, bringing it back to our world, I always tell them, have empathy for the seller, but don't go the sympathetic way, because then you're going to be like, hey, I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry. You're going to get into their shoes. Yeah, it's important to understand that. And this is why a lot of people don't get deals, because they do agree and say, hey, I understand. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I would not sell it for that. Oh, I get it. And that's the worst thing that you can do when you're talking to sellers.
There's a big shift between empathy and sympathy.
Absolutely.
Empathy is, I understand what you're going. I don't feel that way.
Correct.
I get it.
Yep.
I'm going to be solutions focused, and I'm going to help you through this.
Absolutely.
Sympathy is, oh man, we're like in this together.
Yeah.
I feel the same way as you.
Let me jump in the mud.
We're a mess. We're both hot messes together. Like, you can't be like that.
No.
You'll talk yourself right out of a deal. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Look, another millionaire wholesaler trait is you have to continuously learn.
Yeah.
This game is all about increasing skills and capabilities as the cheese moves.
Absolutely.
They're going to move your cheese. If you haven't read that book, Who Moved My Cheese, it takes about 45 minutes or something to read this book. Real short book. Go read that book. This is what's happening in real estate right now. This is why the mortgage guys are selling their shit. This is why people are dumping their watches and their extra Airbnbs. I've been looking for a house. I want to buy another house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a $2.5 million house, but I want to pay $1.5 million in cash.
Sure.
That's what I want to do. I'm going to steal a house, right? A luxury house.
Right.
And, but I'm patient. I'll wait forever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll rent until I get that good deal.
Right.
And,
it'll come.
And for those of you who are listening, I went through a divorce last year. So, I'm living in a rental right now, and, but it's almost time. It's time for me to get my own place. So anyways, I've been looking, how many listings are fully furnished old Airbnbs? Yeah. People are dumping their Airbnbs. They're still a little overpriced right now, because they're still thinking, because a lot of these Airbnbs, they really pimped out and they're really nice. But you can tell they were Airbnbs. They got the neon signs and shit, but they're listed for sale. That's just what's happening.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's interesting the route you're going, right? Because we talked about mindset, we talked about persistence, and now we're talking about two things that I've been preaching now for the last probably 2 years: is skill set and tool set. You know, when it was really good, right? You had this big window of prosperity. I mean, like I said earlier, you can lock up a property at 90%. You got individuals buying it at 110% of what it's worth. And so, and people got lazy. Let's be honest. People got really lazy. They didn't work on their skill set. They didn't work on adding any tool set because it was so simple. And that's one thing that I see there's a big gap as far as like individuals working on their skill set and working on their tool set. But also you have people who are just professional students that never take action.
It drives me crazy.
It drives me nuts. And like, you have all the information and it's like,
I got some students that have been with me for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Never done a deal.
Yep.
And they want to improve. They come to every event. They buy everything I have. And I ask them, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is pissing me off. Like, this is crazy. Like, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And they're like, Cody, you don't get it. Yeah, I want to do real estate, but when I'm ready, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I just want to be part of a community.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so you just want a friend. Like, that's what you want? Like,
you know what my sales coach used to say? If you want a friend?
Yeah, you want a friend. Like, you want somebody to talk. You want to pretend because it makes you feel good to have a hobby or have something. Okay, that ain't me.
Yep.
You know the difference between an amateur and a pro?
No, you're going to tell me.
Man, pros make money.
Yeah,
that's it. Amateurs got a hobby. They're doodling. They're dipping their toes in. They're having. They want friends.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be part of something. Like, nothing wrong with that. That ain't me.
Yeah.
I want to get embarrassingly wealthy and get the fuck out of this business.
Yeah.
Like, I love real estate, but I don't want to be a wholesaler and be Ron LeGrand's age.
No.
Like, I'm just not into that. Like, I see some of these old timers and I'm like, there's no fucking way that's me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's funny you bring that up.
How much, and my mentor was like this. My mentor, Jack Miller and that crew, they were all like 70, 80 years old. And I was the young gunner, and I was always looking at them, and I'm like, thank God they're around. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be like that. Dude, I'm going to be a ghost. By 60, you'll never hear from me again.
Yeah, right.
Like online, anywhere, I'll be a ghost. I'll be hidden behind 6 walls of trust. That's the goal.
I love it. No, that's a great goal. Going back to what you're saying about people wanting to be friends.
You'll never see my PJ on social, ever.
I mean, that's amazing. I love that, right? Because to be honest with you, how many millionaires do you see on social in their PJs, right? It's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, you see the same ones.
You see the same ones. I mean, but
not many.
Not many. I mean, and that's probably like a less than 0.5% of millionaires, right? That you're seeing on social. So, or billionaires, excuse me. So it's like, but I love that you said that. It's like too many people want to be friendly and want to be nice. Just get a dog, go walk. You know what? And the problem is with so many people that have this information, it's like, oh, I need to know this before I go take action. Oh, I need to know that. And the one thing that I learned is that you will never get better and you cannot improve on something that you haven't made a mistake on. Most people don't understand that. And that goes back to the mindset thing a little bit. Most people are just wanting information. Like, have you went out and executed on that information? Have you made the mistake so you can come back and improve upon that mistake that you made?
Dude, I practice filling out contracts 100 times in my house.
Right.
Then I moved on to chapter 3.
Correct.
And I practiced whatever that was. And then I went on to chapter 4 and I practiced whatever that was. And then 2 months later, I finally went out into the field to do a deal. And I'm sitting there talking to a lady and she's like, all right,
how do I
I'll do a deal. And I'm staring at my contract. I don't remember any of it. Right?
It's true.
And I didn't get the deal because I was fumbling all over the damn place. And I just sounded like a doofus. Well, guess what? That's what cemented in the contracts to me.
Exactly.
That one failure, I said, I'll never, ever forget how to explain and fill out contracts in front of somebody ever again.
Yep.
And it was because I tossed and turned for the next 2 days from losing that deal that I got my shit together and I internalized it. You'll learn more in the real world than the classroom any day of the week.
Exactly.
Any day. I love that. But you got to continuously learn because they're moving the cheese.
Yeah. Yep.
Creative finance is going to be big just because there's so many fantastic mortgages out there. Buy the house with the rate attached.
Yep.
Right? This believing that you're going to be able to get good financing over the next 2 to 3 years is just not the play.
No.
You really got to learn how to work those deals. 23 to 25% of every house in America is owned free and clear.
Yep.
Why
Actually, it's higher than that.
It's probably a lot higher than that, but it used to be. It used to be a couple years ago when they last kind of Core Logic or one of those guys did a study.
Yeah.
But it's like that's a lot.
I mean, still, it's a
property.
lot, right? It's a lot.
55% of every mortgage in America refinanced into a 4% or less mortgage.
Yeah.
Learn how to go buy a house with the rate attached.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to assume the mortgage. I'm just saying you have to learn how to creatively take it over, make those payments, do a sub 2, a wraparound mortgage, whatever those creative financing techniques are, learn those. You also got to understand right now that wholesaling's not dead. It's just difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a right and wrong way to approach the seller.
Yep.
If you don't have the phone skills, if you don't have the negotiation skills, if you don't have the ability to build a strong cash buyers list, you're going to fail in this business. So if you don't know how to do it right now, you better be learning around the clock until you do. And in the meantime, the play is to squat up with somebody who's already got that thing dialed in. Yeah. So like for us, we already have the cash buyer list dialed in. If you want to bring us a deal and you want us to help you move it because you can't move it, or you're doing deals nationwide and you're trying to find other markets, well, we got nationwide buyers. We got over 4 million nationwide buyers right now. And so go to sendusthedeals.com, give us your deal.
Yep.
We'll move it real quick and we'll split the profits with you.
Yep.
And that way you can continue to learn, continue to build your buyers list while you're still moving properties and getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
you know what's interesting about that? If you guys go to dodealswithus.com, you're going to get not only
do deals with me,
dodealswithme.com. You're not, let's say it's a lead that they're working. You're going to get our closers to jump on the phones and close that deal for you. If it's under contract, you're going to get our dispo team that's going to work the deal to send it out to our buyers. You know what's one thing that I always get asked is like, what would you do differently if you started all over again? Because remember when I just short 7 years ago, like all this collaboration wasn't really happening. I know you understand that more than me because you started before me. And it was very few people that were collaborating and masterminding. And so I always say this: if I start all over, I would collab. I would squat up with people that are, obviously you got to vet them, right? You can't just squat up with shady broke dudes. Like, you got to make sure that you vet them, and they're doing deals and they're legit in your community. And that's the one thing. Most people put themselves on the island and don't realize that if you just open up just a little bit to have that conversation, you're going to get your first deal done faster than probably 11 months. I guarantee you, but you got to get out of your own way.
What about networking right now? How important is networking?
I think networking now has become the bloodline of any business in your career, honestly, because I learned this about 3 years ago, right? Being part of a collective genius mastermind. I was there for almost a year and a half, and I noticed something was very different there. Like, these guys were opening up their businesses and their operations, and really all it took was one thing that you took from there to be able to push you to the next level. And that's why I said I think it's become the bloodline, because, hey, Cody, if I don't know something and you know it, and I start talking with you, right, at a network event, or even if I have your number and I start speaking with you about my operation, how things are going for me, you might be the guy that supplies that need that I have. But if I don't network, or if I don't meet new people, like, how am I going to grow and how I'm going to get to the next level?
To me, I've always believed that I'm one relationship away from becoming a millionaire.
It's true.
That's it. That's how I always felt. I was like, listen, the whole game of real estate is the game of leverage.
Yeah.
That's it. I need to leverage your skills, your relationships, your time, your money, your something, because I don't have it. I'm a broke kid from Mesa, Arizona with a shitty Nissan pickup truck that barely works and parents that won't give them any money,
right,
and a bunch of hope. Right? Like, that's it. That's me,
it.
And I look like I'm 15 years old. I have to leverage other people's everything if I'm going to pull this game off. And it starts with networking. It starts with getting out from your fucking computer and going out into the real world and shaking some hands.
Yep.
Get out and show up consistently, and don't be that fly on the wall. Don't just sit there and watch. Go meet people, introduce yourselves, get your little 30-second pitch down. Make sure that you look good. By the way, if you're sloppy looking, people aren't going to take you seriously. This is why I preach so much that you gotta be in shape. I want to roll up into an event and have people take me seriously.
Absolutely.
And I'm not just talking about your health. Like, okay, so you're overweight. We'll work on that.
Right.
Just work on that.
Correct.
But if you're dressing like shit, if you're smelling like shit, if you don't have your 30-second pitch down, you are not somebody that people are going to throw opportunities at. You're not somebody that they're going to say, hey, come with me. Let me show you some things. Let me introduce you to some people. I'm going to bet on you. I can count on you. No, you don't even count on you. You're not even taking care of yourself. Why would somebody else bet on you? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
No, absolutely.
And I see people doing this all the time. They come to these events and they just look like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, pull it together.
Yeah.
This is business. We're trying to make millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Pull your shit together.
Absolutely.
On top of that, nowadays, much different than when I started, but nowadays, the networking and building of a personal brand go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
You have to be working on your personal brand in parallel to your real estate business. Your personal brand is going to be the number one thing that brings you opportunities, not necessarily today, but in the future. So make sure you work on that personal brand. And if you need help with that, there's lots of stuff out there. You guys can always, look at my Instagram at Clever Investor. Work on your personal brand by making video a core competency, and just figure out how to use AI, figure out how to use a teleprompter, and start putting out content consistently. If you don't know how to do it, squat up with somebody that knows how to build a personal brand, or just mirror the Alex Hormozis of the world.
Absolutely.
But you got to put yourself out there, because I promise you, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it'll be one of your biggest assets.
Yep. Talking about writing stuff down and what goes in line with what you're talking about. I just started this Robert Greene, which is the one who wrote 48 Law of Powers, which is so currently right now he's teaming up with what's Daily Stoic. I can't remember the guy's name, but the first thing they wrote down, guess what it was? Be in command of yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. And check this out. This is very powerful. He said, first, you need to have power over yourself in order to have power over everything else. And that's kind of what you're talking about, right? And I'm consistently working on it. And this year, this this past, starting like it was back in August, September, you remember before I was actually a lot bigger. And so I decided to make that effort. I'm like, I can't go out and execute. I can't go out and expect others to execute and look at me like to execute at a higher level if I'm not doing it. And so I made that commitment, and this goes in line to what we're talking about.
And I see you putting in the work.
Yeah.
And you're documenting it.
Yeah.
And you're turning on your community, your family, your friends, all your people are watching. And you're setting a standard for all of them. They might not know it yet. They might just be kind of like, oh, Max is lighting up. Max is losing weight. Good for him. Oh, Max is on a diet. Good for him. Right? But a year or two, when you haven't broke character and you're just shredded and you walk into every fucking room like you dominate, they're gonna go, I want to be like Max. That guy's lit on every level.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about. And I promise you the amount of opportunities that will come your way.
Absolutely.
You sitting here.
Exactly.
All of these things just happen because of that energy.
It's amazing.
All right. Having a mindset of abundance, believing that it can happen to you. That's another core trait of winners.
Yeah.
I can't stand negative people.
Me
I don't
either.
get it. I don't like being around them. I don't understand why people stay stuck in that toxic, negative procrastinator space. Winners have a bounce back spirit. Winners move forward powerfully despite the hurdles, despite the pain, despite no matter what challenges are thrown their way. And if you are one of those people that you're negative by nature, you need to surround yourself with other super extremely positive people, squat up with them and figure out how to break that bad habit.
Yeah. No,
you got to compensate.
So true, man. I think that's a very powerful statement. I understand that. It's like, you need to. I mean, there's no other way around it.
And and here's what'll get you. You'll try some things, it won't work, and you'll go, there's no fucking good deals around.
Yeah.
What? Are you telling me somebody's not going to go through a divorce?
Yeah.
Have a medical issue? Go to jail? Lose a job? Have an old house that they don't want? Inherit an unwanted? Are you telling me that planes don't fly? Like, what the fuck? Are you trying to tell me that the real estate wholesaling doesn't work?
Right.
Because that ain't going to work with me.
No.
I know it works.
Yeah.
We just did 3 deals. Like, it does not work for you.
Right.
Because you don't have the right pieces of this puzzle.
Yep.
But it works.
Yep.
So stop walking around trying to convince yourself in the world that this industry isn't good.
Yeah.
It's not a good time. We're at the wrong markets. Like, no, we're not. We buy below the median.
Exactly.
We make money on deals that we go out there and hunt down and find from motivated sellers and serve them up on a platter to cash buyers that are always looking for deals. There's always somebody looking for a good deal out there.
I think I would say majority of people in this industry forgot or haven't acknowledged what an actual motivated seller is. And what I see a lot happen is that a lot of these individuals, they get on the phone or they're talking to all these sellers that have situations, and they don't know how to distinguish what is a situation between motivation, right? And what tends to happen is that someone that's being impacted by their situation that turns into motivation, whether it's impacting them personally, financially, or maybe emotionally, right? That's the individuals, because life happens. I get asked all the time, do you think there'll still be deals in this market? Like, does life stop? Does death stop? Does, financial situation, does that all, like,
Never.
Where's that at?
Yeah.
So I can go there. Right?
Yeah. Well, when you have a mindset of abundance,
Yep.
and that bounce back spirit, you're going to win in this game. You just will.
Yeah.
You will, because you're going to find, and I say this almost every podcast now, because I want to drill it into people's heads. In real estate, you're never going to have a money problem. You're only going to have a creativity problem.
I love that.
There's a solution for every situation. You might not know how to come up with it, but even the only new thing that I've heard of in the last few years is novations.
Right.
It's the only thing I've known about everything else.
Right.
And then they came out with novations. And novations isn't new. It's just a new way we're applying it.
Right.
But I was like, that's a creative ass way
It is.
to make money from a non-deal.
Yeah.
What a cool concept.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a novation is, there's a couple ways to apply it, but it's essentially the ability to lock up a wholesale deal that's a little bit too high a priced and then flip it on the MLS to an MLS buyer versus a cash buyer.
Yep.
And it's just creative paperwork.
It is.
And that's what 90% of creative real estate investing is just a new, unique way to approach the paperwork. But you need to have that abundant mindset to even think about that or think that it's possible to do something like that.
I think that's what helped me with this longevity, right? Continuing going through the challenges, through the prosperity bubble that we had. And then now it's just having that abundant mindset. Like it's going to happen eventually, right? I just got to figure out ways to get creative, lean in my network, and believe that it's going to happen. And that's what's helped me besides the skill set and everything else. It's very, very true and very powerful to understand how having the abundant mindset actually impacts you. Most people don't realize that. Like that's what takes you to the next level and opens up doors for you.
Last but not least, probably one of the best core traits of a real estate millionaire wholesale is just a strong amount of hustle and work ethic.
Yeah.
This business is a grind.
Oh, absolutely.
It's mastering the mundane. There's so many boring ass things that we have to do repetitively on a daily basis to get a result. We are moving the football 1 inch at a time down a field. This isn't about like all of a sudden you're going to do this one thing and have these insane exponential growth. It's we're out there every day putting out marketing, talking to people, analyzing deals versus duds, talking to people again, making offers, talking to people again, writing things up, talking to people again, submitting things, talking to people again, locking things up, talking to people again. It is just so much work.
Absolutely.
But I've never been in a better industry where on the other end of that effort is 30, 40, 50, 60, 80K paydays.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes we surprise ourselves. We get a $80,000, $90,000 payday and we're looking at each other and we're like, dude, we did that in 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Like while all of the work combined is nonstop, this deal took 4 hours.
Correct.
Because as long as you're in the game, as long as you're consistently putting in the effort, you're building your brand, you're surrounding yourself with the right people, you're doing the networking, you're having the right mindset, and you're putting in that effort, all deal flow will start to get more consistent. And your distance between deal 0 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 400 is going to condense. And you're going to buy time and move a lot faster.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful thing once you are able to build that system out and that team out. I'm at a place right now where I'm not on the front lines of our real estate business.
Correct.
It's great.
Yeah.
I get to come in for the high level meetings. I get to help with the coaching. I get to help with the brand and raising of the capital and any other things that we need to do, but I'm no longer on the phones. You can build a business, a wholesaling business that's consistently pumping out 6-figure months without you having to do all the work. It takes time though.
Absolutely.
It's a system.
It's a system. You got to build it up, right? You start with, you got to have hustle no matter what. And you got to have a really high level of work ethic, because if you think that you're just going to get on the phones once in a while, like that's not happening. I could tell you that right now. So even people that start with us, the first thing I always say, hey, your first 30 days are going to be a grind. You're going to get kicked in the face. You're going to, go through, you're going to get mealed. But guess what? After that, once you start honing down your skill and you start to build your pipeline, and that's what I always tell them, focus on building your pipeline. New leads are cool, but they're a gamble. And so what's actually better is what you build in your pipeline. And sure enough, right? Like
80% of our deals happen in the follow-up.
Yeah, in the follow-up. Exactly.
That's what I mean by the grind.
Exactly. And then so you go from hustle to now building systems. A lot of people make this mistake where I would start building systems ASAP. I don't care, right? Because eventually down the road, don't let that stop you from hustling and going out and getting deals, but document systems, because once you're ready to hire or whatever the next level is, you have that down.
Yeah, I love that. Well, listen, guys, we covered a lot of ground here. If you're still listening at this point, I want to give you a free gift. It's our ironclad assignment contract for you real estate wholesalers. There's certain phrases and things that you want in an assignment contract that protect you, lock in the deal, make sure that you make money on all these deals. You just go to CodysContract.com, Cody's plural, CODYS, contract.com. Grab that. It's our free gift to you for hanging out with us on this podcast. And this might have been one of the more real podcasts we've ever done, where it's kind of a gut punch, but I think it's important to be real and raw in this market. We are in a transition. There's a lot of wholesalers that have come into the business. A lot have gone out of business. And the ones that are surviving and not only surviving, but thriving are the ones that have a lot of these traits we talked about. and they're squatting up. Bring us deals. We want to do business with you. Go to sendusthedeals.com if you already have a deal under contract, you want us to help you move it, or go to dodealswithme.com if you want to learn how this business works. I'll give you some deal finding software. I'll give you a bunch of free training courses and a private portal to be able to submit deals to us so we can actually step in and help you get these deals.
Let's go
to the finish line.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thanks for hanging out. We're out of here. Until next time, take care. Comb your hair. Peace. Hey, Cody Sperber, the original Clever Investor, host of the Clever Investor Show podcast, and I'm shooting this ad right now to let you know that this podcast exists. It's finally out, and we have some amazing guests. So please, I'm begging you, can you just come and give our podcast a listen? I've been doing real estate for a really long time. I've accessed some of the coolest people in the world. We were having all these amazing conversations, and I'm like, what are we doing? Let's record this and actually put it out on a podcast. But the problem is, I have to let people know about it. That's where this ad comes in, and this is where you come in. You're going to be able to learn from successful entrepreneurs, get in-depth interviews from amazing leading experts. You're going to learn real estate investing strategies and tactical training strategies that work in today's market. We're going over market analysis and different market predictions. You're going to be able to engage in an awesome community. And we go into some pretty deep dives on the mindset of what it takes to win the game of money and in life, plus lots of bonus resources and exclusive content. So what you're going to want to do right now is click the link that you see on your screen and give the show a subscribe today. We have amazing guests like Ken McElroy and Robert Kiyosaki and Wes Watson and Pace Morby and Jamil Damji and Vina Jetty and a whole host of amazing men and women entrepreneurs that you're going to love to learn from and get to know. So what you want to do right now is click that link and give the show a subscribe today.